Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. Today's date is January 27th, 2022, and today is the 100th episode of Vanished Chicagoland Stories. I'm very excited. So finally, I get to do it. I was going to do it Tuesday, but I had a lot of medical problems. So I'm a little better now. I'll get into that in a moment. I have an interesting show to discuss with you today. Two things. I will talk about the 55th anniversary of the Chicago Blizzard. That was in 1967, and the 50th anniversary of the TV show Revue. And I will discuss the history and the memories of watching that show. Plus, I'll also talk about the memories of the Blizzard. I only have like about one, but I've got memories being told from my mother. So it'd be very interesting. Okay. Right now, the program will go into commercial, and this program is brought to you by Heinz Ketchup. And here's a commercial from 1977, and it features the song Anticipation. And I think a lot of people my age or older would remember that particular jingle. Okay, so here we go.
Hi, is Barbara ready?
I think you have time for a bite.
Your kitchen, it's thick and rich.
Doesn't your mom buy you Heinz?
No, why?
Just taste it.
Anticipation.
Sorry you had to wait.
I'm not.
Thick, rich Heinz ketchup. The taste that's worth the wait.
Oh, it's such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop Blinds.com right now and get up to 40% off select styles, plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Alrighty, everyone. I am back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial. That was for Heinz Ketchup. That commercial was released in 1977. I'll give you a little trivia about the song. The song Anticipation was performed by Carly Simon, and it was released in 1971. It was a very big hit, and according to her, she wrote the song on the guitar in 15 minutes when she was waiting for singer Cat Stevens to pick her up for a date. So she was dating now. I didn't know that because later on she married James Taylor. And I heard that song from the commercial the very first time, not from on the radio. And then I listened to the radio, and it was very, like I said before, a very popular song. And they also played that commercial in Saturday Night Live in a skit for the commercial Swill mineral water, which I remember that. That was very better than the Bassomatic. And so they filmed a few commercials using that song. I guess they used her permission to do that. I'm sure she got rich from that. Another commercial that Heinz used during the 70s was the slowest ketchup in the West. And it was like set in a bar, like a saloon in the West. And the ketchup came, and they had a draw. And you had the regular ketchup brands, or like unnamed. And then you have Heinz. And then they opened their caps and poured the ketchup. And the other ketchups, they drained out all the ketchup really quickly, but Heinz was very slow, which is true today. It is, it's very good. I like Hunt's myself. It's good. And so I'm glad you enjoyed that. Okay, and then so before I get started with the show, I'm going to talk about a couple things, about my health. So I had a swelling on my leg. That was last week. That was caused by edema or edema. I get for it. The doctor told me just to raise my leg and let the fluid come out. It's almost gone. I still have to do that, but it's much better. And because I had athlete's foot. Then over the weekend, my blood pressure went sky high, and I had to go to urgent care. And part of it was anxiety or like that. I was almost going to go to the hospital, but the nurse over there suggested just call your provider. And I did. I called Monday and spoke to the doctor's office, and then they got me back in about a couple hours. And the doctor prescribed me another blood pressure medication. I had to wait 2 days for it to pick it up because Osco, the pharmacy was out of stock. So, and I felt like crap, a couple of days. Luckily, I picked it up Wednesday and I took it. It's my second day taking it. I feel a little woozy because that's what happens when you take the first time. We'll see how I feel. And then I will see the doctor on a week from today. Second thing happened. Monday, I was eating dinner and I heard a crack when I was eating a piece of bread, and I cracked my tooth. It's on the back. So I didn't eat anything, after that. I was very scared. So the next day I called my dentist. He was going to, they told me to come in tomorrow, but it was hurting a little bit. And then so they put me on hold and told me, yeah, come on in. So I went in and they removed part of the tooth, but he could not extract the rest of it because it was too deep. It was not, he doesn't do that. You have to go to an oral surgeon, which he has a friend. So he moved the part of the tooth. Then I went home, made an appointment for the oral surgeon, and I will go in 2 weeks. The funny thing is that tooth was not cracked. It was fractured. So that was, it was a bad fracture. I still have part of it. So it doesn't hurt everything. So I had a lot of bad luck, health-wise. But so far I'm doing okay. Okay. Okay, right now let's go on with the show. Today I will talk about two things. The 55th anniversary of the Chicago Blizzard of 1967, and the second thing will be the 50th anniversary of the TV show News or Review. So we'll start with the Blizzard. I wrote a little story 5 years ago on Facebook, on my Facebook page. It was Chicago Extinct Businesses at the time, but now it's Fan Chicagoland. Also wrote it on my blog. You can find it on fanchicagoland.blog. If you do a search, you do Blizzard in the search box. And so I wrote a short story, and I talked about the blizzard. And I won't read word for word, but this is what happened. We lived in the South Shore neighborhood. That's on the south side, and we lived in an apartment. And it was my parents, me, my brother. He was the middle, and my mom was pregnant with my younger brother. Anyway, so that snow. This is a funny thing. The blizzard started about 5 o'clock in the morning, around 4 or 5, like that. And it started on January 26, 1967. It did not stop till January 27th, the next day, around 10 o'clock in the morning. And it fell continuously. It was like a machine. It would not stop. And it fell. The official count was 23 inches. Some people claim it's 20, probably more, but it isn't true. It was 23. According to the weatherman, John Coleman, if people remember him, he was on Channel 7. He was the only one who was accurate about this event, according to sources. I very enjoyed watching him. He was funny. But the other meteorologists, no, because about a couple of days before, it was in the 50s and 60s. It was beautiful, and then and it was going to be rain after that, but no, somehow, some way, that changed, and then we got dumped by this blizzard, and it was a hoot. It was a hoot, and the gusts of wind were 48 to 53 miles, and that was measured at Midway Airport. And you could hear thunderstorms and they were funnel clouds, sighted. Strange. I didn't hear about that. And so they had snow plows, and 2,500 workers at the time had that. And then they had snow plows and other snow removal equipment sent from other states, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And so most of the people stay home, and other people got stranded in their cars, in the buses. So if they were on the bus, they had to get out and they walked. They couldn't get a ride from anybody. That was out of the question. And the drifts, the snow drifts were like 4 feet high, 4 or 5 feet high, really, like that. But it took 3 weeks for the city of Chicago to plow all the streets because it wasn't warm at the time. It was too cold like that. And then later on, it snowed again in a few days, but not as bad as that. So, the airports were closed and people were trapped. 26 people died in the blizzard. And some died from heart attacks due to shoveling snow. I don't believe they had snowblowers then. No, I don't think so. That came in the 70s. Then after that weekend, it snowed 4 more inches. And then on February 1st, the following Sunday, it dumped another 8 inches. Oh, my God. We couldn't get a break. That was terrible. And it's still the record snowfall. It is number 1. And there were, I think the other one was the Groundhog Day blizzard of 2011. I have a picture of that, a couple of pictures. And then the other one was the blizzard of 1979. And also remember the 1999 blizzard that happened around New Year's Day. So the one in 67 was the winner. That was the winner. And it was called a Category 5 storm. Oh, boy. What a crazy event. Anyway, my memory, here's my memory of the blizzard. We lived on Colfax Avenue in South Shore. And all I remember is looking out the window and there was whiteness, in total white. It's like looking at a marshmallow. You couldn't see anything. My younger brother didn't remember. He was about 2, so he was very young. And my father called. He was working at the Hilton Hotel downtown, and they offered him, because he was a waiter, he was a room service. They offered him to stay overnight, but my father said no. My wife is pregnant and very worried, so I'm going to go home. Luckily, the ice, it's called the Illinois Central train. Now it's Metro. It was 1 block away from the apartment building, and it was running, so he took it. And he said, no, I'm going to take it. So luckily, my father did. My mom was scared to death. She really was. And so he came home. He came home about 1 o'clock in the morning to check on us, and we're fine. And then the next day, he went back to work. And that's when the snow ended. So, and then my mother told me that she couldn't use the laundry room in the apartment building. You could go inside. I don't know why, but usually she goes out on the front porch to go to use the laundry room. But it was scheduled. But the porch was full of heavy snow, and she was afraid like it would, fall. So she said no. So she washed our clothes and diapers in a big tub, right in the bathtub. She took a tub, like a portable tub, and put it in the bathtub, and she washed our diapers. She did that for days, and we had enough food for a while, but my uncle owned a grocery store on the corner of 75th and Colfax. And before my dad went to work, he got all the necessities: bread, milk, eggs, cereal, for food for us. And there was also a High-Low store, if people remember that. That was about was on 75th near Exchange, and there was a Walgreens on the corner. So they were open. Thank God they were open. And my mom didn't leave the house for about a week. Not a week. I mean, she went outside, but she didn't go anywhere because, my dad did the shoppings for a while. And then once the snow sort of cleared out, everything got fine. But thank goodness we weren't sick. And she was scared to death. She was very scared, She lived in Greece, but she never witnessed snow like that. But the first time she saw the blizzard, and it was she was frightened, but she liked it. It's something you don't forget. People will never forget where they were when it happened. She had a friend of hers. Her son was trapped in a store, and they couldn't get out, and so they had to rely on all the food that was in stock. The only thing that was left was like a candy bars, and they ate that. So it was funny. So I posted a video. I made a video about 5 years ago. It was for the 50th anniversary of the blizzard. I edited it a little bit, and I posted it on my social media accounts for the 55th, and it showed newspaper ads of businesses that were in business during that blizzard. Like, for example, Marshall Fields, National Foods, A&P, Hillman's, Carson's, you name it. It was very favorable. People loved the video, but a couple people think, now this is not about the blizzard, it's about newspaper ads, but this is what it's about. This is the businesses that were there. If people take it the wrong way, I ignored it. That's only about 2% that complained. Also, I have the gallery, so I show all the ads. I posted that yesterday, and you could see clearly, so you don't have to watch the video. And then it brought a lot of memories to people. They loved it. They really did. And so that's all I remembered from the blizzard, looking out the window. And it looked like I was looking at a marshmallow. That's how it was. Okay. That's all for the blizzard. And next up, I'm going to talk about the 50th anniversary of the TV show News Revue. And I'll give you a brief history of that. The show premiered January 24th, 1972, and ended 1977. There were about close to 200 episodes, I think, like that. And I remember watching, it premiered on Channel 9, WGN, but then it moved to Channel 32 for years. Then they showed it on Saturday mornings on Channel 5. And then it went on to 60, 50, et cetera, in Chicago. And so I'll give you the premise of the show in about a moment. Right now, I'm going to play the theme song and News Revue. So I hope you enjoy it. Here we go.
La 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 la. It's the News Revue, coming right at you. Where three delightful animals have fun with what they do. We learn with our friend Doug, on his helper, Annie Joe, with Penny, Charlie, and Pianetta. We have fun learning what we don't know. Delicate and feminine is Henrietta Hippo. Very wise and very smart is Charlie the Owl. Not so smart with lots of fun is Freddie the Frog. It's quite an unusual thing. The animals talk and sing. Every day's a different show. It's the News Revue, coming right at you. It's the News Revue, coming right at you.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the intro of News Revue. That's the second TV show that debuted in January for their 50th anniversary. The other one was Zoom. I discussed that on a previous podcast episode. So I'll give you a history of the show and the actors that played. And I was right before. It was 196 episodes. They had music, comedy, and They discuss topics of ordinary topics, courtesy, bragging, patience, or criticism. I remember that one. And the actors that played on the show, there was Doug Marmory, and his wife, Emily Pedden. They got married before they got the show. They are still married. They are still married to this day, And I thought Emily was a very pretty lady, and she sang beautifully. I'm surprised she didn't have a career. She would have been famous, very famous. And the show featured puppet characters, full-bodied. Freddie the Frog, Henrietta Hippo, and Charlie the Owl. I think Freddie had a girlfriend. I think he did, but I don't remember her name. I think maybe it was Frederica. I think it's her name. And it was a very good show. I loved it. And I remember Freddie with his, he had his t-shirt, a sweater with the F on it. And he always visited Charlie the Owl or Henrietta Hippo, but he was a very naive guy. And he did, he was also kind of accident prone and clumsy. And I remember, I think a couple of times where he visited Charlie the Owl, and I think he dropped something, and he was upset. I can understand that. And also when he visited Henry Hippo, because she was a cook, she baked a lot of stuff, and but sometimes he ate things that he wasn't supposed to, And he made him mad. Freddie made him mad, but not Doug and Emily. They were very patient people. Also, when during the show they did topics, and then they sang and danced, and a lot of fun. And there were a couple other actors that played in the show. They were recurring. There was a man called Mr. Dingle. He was a elderly postman, and he was a jack of all trades. And that was played by Chuck Woolery, who hosted the first Wheel of Fortune, and of course, Love Connection. Everyone remembers that. Then the other one was Mrs. Goodbye, played by Fran Ryan. She was a nosy neighbor. She visited all the time. She just poked her nose where she didn't belong. And she was the advice columnist for the All New Zoo Gazette. I remember that. And there were actors that appeared. And then, so the funny thing, Richard Dawson was in the show. Jim Backus from Gilligan's Island, Mr. Magoo, Henry Mancini, June Lockhart from Lost in Space, from Lassie, and of course Joanne Worley from Laugh-In. She made a guest appearance, so that was fun. That was very interesting. And the show went off the air in 1977, but reruns continued. And it continued for years and years. And you can buy the series on DVD. I believe you can if you do a search on eBay or Amazon, if you are interested in that. Or you can view a few episodes on YouTube. You do that. There's also a video of some outtakes, and it's very naughty. So, swearing, a lot of suggestive things. So I've seen, I viewed that at a comic book convention in San Diego, the Comic-Con, and they showed that on television. I go, oh my God. But it's on YouTube if you want to watch it. So this is when they were rehearsing, or they flub a line or something like that. So that was a good show. I enjoyed it, and it was part of me growing up with watching that, including Zoom, which I talked, very deeply about that show. I love that. And it's when I visited my dentist the other day, he listened to my podcast. He goes, I love Zoom. I can't get the song out of my head when he's examining my tooth. That was funny. Okay. That'll be all for today. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 100, season 4, the last show of the season. We're going to start season 5 maybe Saturday or Sunday. It'll be 101. Can't believe I reached that. And I'm very pleased. So thank you, everyone, for your support and listening to me. I'm still nervous, but, this is the real me talking. I'm not a journalist. I'm not an actor. I am myself. And I use my knowledge. I have a great thirst of knowledge, and I remember a lot of things. And that's what makes the podcast very interesting. It really does. Okay, so thank you for listening to me, and everyone have a good day. And bye-bye for now. And now here's a little traveling music from Ray Rayner saying so long and bye-bye. Take care, everybody.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.